Media bias has always been an underlying issue behind what's going on with Manchester United. United get bullied by the media, and it doesn't seem like there's many people that will actually stand up and put positive Manchester United articles out there. The way we are treated in the media has been borderline obsessive for some outlets, TalkSport seemingly especially, ESPN FC especially. And the topic is often around our transfer business. Criticism of our players has become so normalised that you just expect it. And it isn't the case at all for other clubs, especially Liverpool. Why? Florian Wirtz, literal record signing, one of Liverpool's massive money signings this summer, one of the highest profile signings ever in terms of the money, recently joined from Leverkusen, where he hasn't scored or assisted. I was going to say he's faced criticism, but I'm yet to see any sort of criticism. In fact, the opposite has been the case. He has been defended by almost all of the mainstream outlets, which is frustrating when you see the lack of sympathy for our own players. BBC Sport did a deep dive trying to explain and justify why Liverpool aren't yet seeing Wirtz's best form, attributing it to the tactical adjustments made under Arne Slot and the challenges of integrating into a balanced midfield rather than any sort of lack of talent. And I'm not saying Wirtz is a bad player. A few years ago, I did a video saying I think he'll be the future of German football. I think he's absolutely sensational. I just don't see this sort of defending for any other club, and definitely not United. It's the opposite. BBC quoted, Wirtz is yet to score for his new club and his only assist came in the Community Shield loss to Crystal Palace. But does that paint the whole picture? The Athletic did a 40-minute podcast, an analysis which compared his start to that of Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry didn't score or assist in his first 7 games, and look what he went on to achieve. Look, lads, Thierry Henry wasn't a £116 million signing that was joining the champions. He was a player that had failed at Juventus and was joining Arsenal, who admittedly had been champions recently, but they weren't the reigning champions. The Athletic go on and stress that there is no need to panic. They highlight the statistical insights and what Liverpool can do to unlock him. ESPN details the reasoning behind Liverpool's big spend, praises his recovery from injury and his ability to dance through defensive, saying he is a great long-term investment. Michael Ballack defended Wirtz's decision to join Liverpool, noting the quality gap makes the move logical despite these initial hurdles. The defence is echoed on social media as well. One post from The Athletic argues against the 007 thing, calling it insulting. 0 goals, 0 assists in 7 games. I'm sorry, but it was Sky Sports that literally had it on their screen in their studio, a mock-up of Jadon Sancho as James Bond with 007 alongside him. Another young player moved from the Bundesliga for big money, less money, to the Premier League. Completely same scenario, completely opposite in terms of treatment. Why is there this negative focus on United? And it's happened for so long. And it's absolutely frustrating when you see the differences elsewhere. Paul Pogba is the one that stands out the most because the media narrative emphasised those inconsistencies, the injuries, the attitude issues. There was an agenda against him. Pundits like Graham Souness hounded him from the moment for anything. Graham Souness actually came out after Paul Pogba got 4 assists in a single game and brushed it off, saying it's the least I expect for someone worth that's cost £100 million. For starters, it was 89 million. And for 2, aren't we due now 30-something goals from Florian Wirtz? Or assists? Even Teddy Sheringham slammed United signings as not good enough and suggested that they should have targeted Liverpool stars instead. Jamie Carragher labelled Jadon Sancho as United's worst ever signing, saying his main strengths were a mystery. There's also this article, which I think is like the Liverpool equivalent of the MEN, which moans at United's summer spending whilst trying to justify Liverpool spending twice as much. I'll throw a link to this in the description and you should absolutely read it because it's insane. Sky Sports in particular have been getting pelters by United fans for excusing the £446 million spent by Liverpool, calling it a transition, while demanding instant results from United, who spent half as much and had a lot longer to go. Our outgoings are getting viewed in as much of an envious light. There's a spotlight placed on their successes, always used to put United on a pedestal, with the narrative that letting them go was always a bad idea. But while these players were at the club, Højlund, McTominay, Rashford, Onana, Antony, they were some of the main voices who had a monumental part to play in publishing negative reports about them as players. Let's call this what it is. Manchester United bring clicks for these outlets. Controversy creates cash for them. And nothing brings controversy like Manchester United. Liverpool's transfers are very much framed as value-driven, especially when it comes to comparison to United. For United, they always seem to want to call it the dollar amount plus all of the add-ons. With Liverpool, they wanted to just downplay it, and it was the minimum reported, and it was in pounds for whatever reason. Liverpool's successful signings obviously should get credit. But when they've made erratic or expensive signings that have failed, like Núñez, or even Wirtz, you hear nothing about it. The pattern shows United signings often face amplified criticism for attitude, for cost, for performance, while Liverpool's are through the lens of strategic success, or patience, or, here was one from this weekend, they're a team in transition. There's an attitude from pundits and journalists that push this narrative, and it's clearer and clearer by the day. That social show on Sky Sports asking if the criticism of Wirtz is justified. I replied to it by saying, what criticism? Genuinely, can anyone point to a major outlet criticising Wirtz? Because I can post as much as you like that is incorrectly criticised. Now, there's been Manchester United signings that have been fairly criticised, and that's fine. All I want is consistency. Because all I get is inconsistency. Not me. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.